Hello, everyone. Welcome to the Simple Sales app webinar. Give me a moment. I'm going to look at the chat so I can see if we can if you can hear us and if we can read your messages. My name is Magic. I'm a Pic-Time ambassador. I'm going to be co-hosting this webinar. And before I'm going to introduce my co-hosts and our guests, I'm going to just check all the technical stuff. Okay. I can see that you can hear us, you can see us. Also, few technical notes before we get started with the whole webinar. If you are using a chat feature has this option to write to a specific group of people. So make sure your messages goes to panelists and attendees. So your messages goes to more than just us panelists. Panelists is going to be me, my co-host, and the guests, and all attendees is all of you. So if you check that in the chat, then all of us will be able to see it. All of you guys will be able to see, so you can have a nice conversation in the chat. Also, we're going to use Q&A feature to ask questions. So if you're going to have any question, there is this Q&A thing at the bottom or the top of your Zoom thing, depending on your Zoom version, I guess, where you will be able to ask questions. And we have amazing team here today from West Coast Australia and East Coast Australia, Marianne and Jonathan, and they will be trying to handle all of your questions via chat and just answer them typing so we don't interrupt the flow of the webinar. But if some of the questions will feel that we have to, answer them live or show something, we'll definitely take time for that. I'm so excited. There's over 200 people. Like the chat is going like crazy. One more information for all of you that are here. So this webinar is about Simple Sales System app. So this app is kind of designed for anyone who shoot any type of portraits. So whether you're a portrait photographer shooting newborns, shooting families, maybe doing some pet photography, boudoir photography, like tons of different ways to utilize a portrait sessions. If you're doing any of it, you're going to find something very useful here today. If you are a wedding photographer, we know we have tons of wedding photographer. I myself am a wedding photographer. Lauren, my co-host, is a wedding photographer. So this webinar might be also very useful for you, as you can use the system either to maybe profit on your sessions, engagement session, or maybe elopements. Maybe you're trying to take your game to the next level and maybe offer some mini sessions or like any sort of sessions. I do believe that you will find tons of useful stuff today. And one more thing, with like kind of a technical intro note before getting deeper into the webinar. So this webinar is going to take around 1.5 up to 2 hours. We have a really nice schedule going on. We do have Annemie, who is the one who made the Simple Sales system. So she's going to be our first main guest here. We're going to do step-by-step setup. So we're going to Lauren is going to show us whole setup of the Simple Sales app, how to set up the dashboard of your Pic-Time. And also we'll have 4 amazing guests that we'll introduce later on that are utilizing Simple Sales app in a different way. So some of these photographers are wedding photographers that decided to do something new with their business. So that's going to be super useful. And then after that, we will have a panel. So that's a brief schedule for today. And now I'm excited to finally introduce Lauren. You'll be waiting forever. Sorry, that intro was so long, but I needed to get that information out to all people. So I have Lauren Johnson, Pic-Time support agent, senior support agent. How do you call yourself now?
Yeah, that works. That's perfect. Yeah, so today we're going to be talking about the Simple Sales System app. We've got Annemie with us. I'm so excited to chat with her. The Simple Sales System is honestly, it's the most complicated app in terms of just like setting up, and there's a bunch of steps to it, but it's also the most powerful app that we have. It was very funny because, you know, with Pic-Time, we were looking at all our photographers and seeing who was making money and things like that. And Annemie, she was making a ton of money, and we were like, what is going on? How are you making all of this like money through Pic-Time? Like, this is fantastic. And she was like, it's this simple sales system that I've made. And so we worked with Annemie, and she helped us design the app to go along with her simple sales system. So we're going to be talking with her today and going through all the steps to getting it set up, and also some marketing strategies to take your business to the next level. So I'm very excited today.
Ace, ace. So, and you've been a long time with Pic-Time. Do we have any newbie Pic-Time newbies in the chat? Let us know. Lauren, if you could just give brief introduction of the power of Pic-Time.
Yeah. So one of the big things about Pic-Time that makes it different from every other gallery service out there is the sales automation platform. We really believe over here that, you know, you deserve to have your photos elevated in a way long past the photo shoot date. And so, and we also believe that, you know, clients should print out their work and get beautiful printed products. So with all of the marketing automations, we make it really easy for you to create different sales strategies in a way that's authentic and individualized to you as the photographer and to your clients, so that they feel very well taken care of and like you're with them every step of the way. So the sales automations in general will like totally transform your photo business, but especially the simple sales app. It's pretty fantastic. So I'm very excited for us to get into it today.
Yeah, this is really exciting, and I see that we have a lot of newbies in the chat. So, with no further ado, let's introduce Annemie. So, Annemie, if we can have you on the stage here with us. Yes.
Am I there? Hi.
You are here. Hello.
How are you guys?
Doing good. How are you?
I'm good. Hopefully video and audio is working. It's low pressure when there's a whole bunch of people in the chat.
Yes,
we
that's
can
very
handle
true.
that.
Yeah.
So like Lauren give you like amazing introduction. That's something that kind of stands out. Like if like I can imagine that there's thousands of photographers in Pic-Time, and seeing like one person stands out, that's something unique. So how does that sound from your perspective? Like when you were reached out by Pic-Time to collaborate, can you say something about it?
Yeah, you know, I mean, it's always kind of a funny thing. We work in our businesses so individually, right? And even though I felt like I had a pretty decent network of and community of photographers, we don't always really do a lot of talking about the nuts and bolts of how we run our businesses. And so, and at the same time, you really don't know what other people, you know, you look around and you think, oh, that person is successful, or that person seems like they're doing well. And then there are plenty of people that they never cross your radar at all. And I am sure that I was one of those people, or am one of those people for a lot of people. So to have, you know, Pic-Time talk to me and say, actually what you're doing seems to be different from what everybody else is doing. And then we just kind of sat down and mapped out how this system that I had created for myself, which was based on several years of doing in-person sales, and the lessons that I had learned from that, but also getting to a point in my business and in my personal life where I needed to be able to have more time to dedicate to my kids, and couldn't just be doing the heavy lifting of in-person sales all the time. I needed to make that a more streamlined process. So I built a system that got me in-person sales results without the in-person part. And that was the beginning of that conversation.
That's amazing. Like Lauren, I've heard you were also amazed by the power of simple sales system.
Yeah. We had a few chats with Annemie before, and you like gave your whole philosophy, and it was like, oh my gosh, this is crazy. It's so crazy how easy it is to set up, and it just makes so much sense as well. You know, being able to give your clients these package options to like upgrade. Because I don't really like doing in-person sales at all. I don't like doing them. But with this, it feels a lot more natural to me as a photographer. And so it feels a lot more natural to my clients too. And so, yeah, it's it's pretty unbelievable how great it works. It's so fantastic.
Oh, thanks. Yeah, I feel like you raise a really important point. When you're doing something that feels awkward or inauthentic, I mean, just like if your client, when you're posing them or giving them sort of directions on how to stand, if they're like, this feels awkward, it looks awkward too, right? And so when we're doing things in our businesses that aren't true to who we are, that I feel like that shines through. So the thing that's been nice as I have started to teach other people how to do this, and as Pic-Time's automation has made it available to so many more people, I have seen a lot of people who needed to up their profits, but were sort of stuck in this, like, I don't like hard selling people and I don't like feeling salesy. You know, they've been able to increase their revenue without having to do something that didn't feel authentic to them as business people.
Mm-hmm.
One more information for technical information. This video will be available for a replay, so you'll be able to watch it later on. Also, for all of you newbies, we have more webinars on our YouTube channel. And maybe Lauren, I'll give you a mic so you can just kind of get into the philosophy with SSS with Annemie.
Nice, cool. So yeah, basically the philosophy behind the app is that, you know, we really want the users, our photographers, to have a return on their investment, basically. And so the concept of the app is to basically bring up your bottom line. You know, we have, you know, if you're a wedding photographer, you have all-inclusive packages. You know, if you're a portrait photographer, you have, you know, like different package options. And this is just a really, really great way to give your clients upgrade options for purchasing downloads and store credit in the gallery. That's what the app will actually do in Pic-Time. And basically what it will do is, you know, your clients will see all of these package options and they'll be more likely to choose an upgraded version than just the first package option. And so it's a really, really great way to raise your bottom line. And I mean, it's also good in 2021 with social distancing. And, you know, we're kind of trying to do like mini sessions and outdoor sort of smaller photo shoots. So yeah, I would really love to hear more about how you really came about doing this on Annemie, because I just love the entire story of you going from, you know, wanting to change your business model and taking back, you know, kind of your life and more time for you and your kids and stuff. So what was like kind of like the turning point for you in deciding to do this kind of thing?
Well, it was not necessarily, you know, sometimes you need an external force to get you to make a change. So I was actually getting divorced and I needed a way to make even more money than I was already, like, in-person sales had been going well for me for 7-ish years. But it was taking up a lot of my time. And then not only did I need to make more money as a single income household, I also needed to carve out, or I needed to make more money in less time. So it was really one of these situations where I looked at the numbers and it was right there in black and white, like something was going to have to change. And with the amount of time that in-person sales was taking, I just couldn't scale up my business much beyond what it was. And my prices were already pretty high in my market and all that sort of stuff. So it was like, okay, how can I kind of reverse engineer in-person sales and what works with in-person sales, but package that up in a way, because I had at that point kind of recently started using Pic-Time, and I was really frustrated because I loved the online store interface. It was super beautiful, like everything was beautifully presented. It had that aesthetic quality that as a photographer was so like, I just wanted everybody to go in there. But because I was doing in-person sales, I would send people a gallery afterward just so they could enjoy their photos and look at them. But almost nobody was even clicking into the store, much less ordering anything. Like every once in a while, I would get like grandma would order something. So what I did was I started to think about like, what are the things about in-person sales that works? It's not the fact that we're sitting in a room together. And it came down to kind of three main things. Number one is that the limited amount of time that happens, anybody who has done or explored the idea of in-person sales knows that you kind of set this expectation with your clients that you're going to have an in-person sales session. And during that session, they are going to place their order. And that's going to become like, it's the time that they make the decision. So it's a time limited situation where there's a little bit of and you pitch that when you're doing in-person sales as a benefit to them. Like by the time you leave here, we'll have your order all taken care of. And then there is the guidance part of it, which is that was actually kind of the hardest part to figure out. But there's the deadline or time limit. There is the narrowing down of choices for people. So this is a big thing where if you're just doing online gallery sales, like let's say that you do all inclusive, but then you let people look in your store and maybe they buy stuff. Oftentimes you have so many options, or they're options among things that people aren't familiar with, and they get overwhelmed. And it's not that they don't want those things, but without you being there, like you would be in in-person sales to guide them, they just kind of get lost and then they freeze up. Like when you're trying to find a movie on Netflix and you scroll through 8 million and you're like, I don't know, I'm just going to bed. So it's essentially the same thing. And then the third thing is that you have the power of impact when you're doing in-person sales. Usually you don't share someone's photos with them before that sales session. So they show up. Usually you sit down and you start the session off by watching a slideshow of the images. You know, there's a box of tissues on the coffee table or whatever. And it's that I don't want to say novelty, but it is that newness of like, I just saw these photos. I love them so much. I'm in this kind of emotionally heightened state that generally leads to higher sales. So when I created my system, I wanted to use all of those things. So they have, I generally use a slideshow to present the images, and they have a limited period of time to watch that slideshow. I don't just give it to them for a few minutes. I do give it to them for a full 24 hours. And using the app, you can adjust the amount of time that they have to preview their gallery. But in the case of my clients, they get to see all of their images in the slideshow. It's not just a portion of them. They see the whole thing. And then either during that 24-hour period or sometime after that, they are given the options among 3 collections. And the collections, I don't know if you want me to talk about that now or we can talk about it later, but I keep them extremely simple because again, you don't want to overwhelm people with too many decisions. So all of my collections include a certain number of digital files and a certain amount of print credit. And print credit is like a gift certificate that they're buying for themselves. So it has a certain value. They take that, they spend it in the store. And what it allows them to do is make a decision relatively quickly while we are leveraging the power of that impact, but they don't get bogged down in the like, oh, I have to decide exactly how I'm going to use my print credit. They can just decide on an amount, which is an easier decision for them to make. Mm-hmm. So then after they purchase this collection, which includes digital files and print credit, then their gallery opens up, and all of this now is automated with the app, which is amazing because I used to have to manually do all of this, and I would like send them a link to the slideshow and then that would expire. And then I would send them the invoice for their, selected collection. And now all of this is like, I send one email and that's it. Like they're off to the races. But once they purchase their collection, their gallery opens. I have it set up in my apps that they have access to their gallery for 30 days. And during that month, that's when they pick out which digital files they want and they download them directly from the gallery. And then they can fulfill their print credit in the store. And the beautiful thing is that because, as sort of like a side benefit, because the payments are kind of spread out, there seems to be this, by the time they're spending their print credit, it does have the feeling of a gift certificate, even though they paid for it. Oftentimes people will outspend their print credit. So like in-person sales, my sales average is not limited, but is in fact kind of unlimited. And oftentimes people will outspend that to the point where the cost of goods is negated by their overspend. So it's been very profitable. The way that you can set up your collections to make sure that you're fulfilling your minimum sales average that you need to make to be profitable means that once someone hires you, you are guaranteed that it's going to be a profitable session. You just don't know how profitable. It might be minimally profitable, or it may be like way over the top.
Awesome. Yeah, that sounds so fantastic. And, all the comments are saying that, this is genius. It's so good. And yeah, it really just taps into like that human emotion of being excited about seeing your photos and then really wanting to like celebrate them and being able to purchase, products for yourself. And I love the idea of doing a print credit because yeah, it eliminates all of that, having to decide what things to purchase. And, the client is able to spend it at kind of their will, basically.
Right.
Shall we go ahead and get into just actually looking at the app now?
Let's do it.
Yeah.
Awesome. So let me share.
I do also have a question in the meantime while you share your screen to Annemie. So how about the session fee part? How do you deal with that? Because I think like this is something that there's a discussion between photographers. Like I've been in the group of photographers that would do like one session fee and then all inclusive, like what you call all inclusive is that I deliver all the photos in the price and they can only purchase then maybe print. How does that work on your side with your portrait photography?
So I charge a session fee ahead of time, and it's sort of, you could call it a booking fee, whatever, but it includes the session itself. It includes the preparation for the session. So, I send them a prep guide and some other materials, and then the time that it takes to do the session itself and the editing and preparation of the images. Some people feel, I think some photographers feel a little awkward because they say it doesn't include anything. And, when I talk about that, it's like, yes, it does. It includes your time. Like you wouldn't go, do some other work for free. There's a fair amount of time that goes into all of the getting ready and taking the pictures and all that. So you're getting paid for your time, but you're not asking someone to pay you for something that they haven't yet seen. So they're paying you for your time. And then afterward, once they've seen the images, then they can decide how much they want to spend going forward. And I actually feel like that rather than asking someone to sort of pay you up front for, let's say, the session and all of the digital files or some number of digital files, this gives them the guarantee that, they're only investing a certain amount, and the session fee is always going to be a relatively small proportion of what they're going to spend overall. So it's kind of a lower barrier to entry. And I generally find that allows people who are a little more nervous about booking you, they haven't worked with you before, they see other people's beautiful photos, but they're not 100% confident that they're going to get that. It allows them to make that purchase or that, that investment with the knowledge that they have some control. Does that answer your question? Was that what you were asking? Okay.
Yes, that is actually like really informative. I do have like a follow-up question because you said you send out like that information brochures or something like that, if I heard correctly. So I'm guessing that with that step, if you are transitioning from maybe a all-inclusive photographer to a simple cell system photographer, it would require, let's say, a good communication between you and the client, right?
Yeah. So I have a podcast, and I have I have a thing on my podcast. You can
plug your podcast.
Sorry,
you're a special guest.
Well, only because if someone is actually interested in this subject, it's something that has come up a lot. I do these little things called mini mentoring sessions where people bring up questions. And that's one that I get a lot about, like, how do I introduce a major pricing change or a structural change to the way that I am going to be, if I'm changing my business, how do I introduce that to my clients? And so I've talked about this a fair amount, but the short version of the answer is communicate, communicate, communicate. And then if I'm introducing a big change in my business, what I'll do is I'll reach out to the clients that I love and I want to hang on to. And I'll say, this big change is coming. Here's why it's going to be so great for you. Like I talk about the benefits that will come to them, but let's say it's a price increase. So there is that not benefit for them. I do give people a period of time during which I'll say, if you'd like to take advantage of my old pricing before it changes to the new pricing, just book a session by X date. So that level of communication and being really transparent with your clients, I feel like it gives them the heads up. They feel special and taken care of. But people at the end of the day generally understand that, like, we are running businesses. We have to do things in a way that works for us. And so, they understand whether or not that means they can continue to work with you, that is what you need to do.
Yeah, that's great. That's great. Like, from what you're saying, that communication and transparency is the key for it to be successful as well. Amazing. So yeah, Lauren, go ahead. Show us the power of the app itself.
Awesome, let's do it. So I've opened up a preview gallery right now to show you all how it actually looks in action first. I'm definitely a visual person, so I like seeing how it all looks before we actually get into the steps. But this is what the gallery will basically look like to your client when they first, are invited to their gallery and can see the packages. So we've got our nice slideshow scene where they can click through and watch all of the photos of their from their session. And then down here below, we have the 3 package options that we've set up. And the client will be able to select one of these 3 package options, and then they'll be able to purchase it. And then the full gallery will become open to them at that point. And so shall we go ahead and just get into the steps of it? Let's do it.
Yeah.
Okay. So I'm over here in my main photographer dashboard. This is where you come when you first log into Pic-Time. And we'll go ahead and come over to the sales and automation section. And I guess I'll start out by saying we also have a bunch of other webinars going over setting up store pricing, setting up your account, and also going over a lot of the other apps. So in our previous webinar, we went over a lot of these automations over here. So if you're interested in watching those, we do have other webinars that are available on our YouTube channel for you to take a look at. But we'll go ahead and we're in the automation section. So we'll go ahead and click the plus icon to add a new app. And we'll create the simple sales system app. And there's Annemie right there. So we'll go ahead and click install, and then you can name the app if you want. And this is where we'll go ahead and just set up all of the steps for the app. So we'll set up our email communication, we'll set up the 3 packages, and all of the fun little details. So the very first step of the app is to create the 3 packages themselves as they're displayed on the gallery. So this is what the client will see when they first come and view the gallery. They'll be able to see all of these 3 package options. So this is where you can add just the title for all of the 3 collections, and then you can add the names for all of them here. So the description will be good for letting the client know, how much this is going to cost, what they'll actually receive, how many downloads, and how much store credit they'll receive in each specific collection. And then you can also even edit the banner image that is displayed in the gallery too. So if you want to customize it to fit your branding and your style, you'll be able to upload, whatever image you want for the collection packages. So then we'll go ahead and click apply when we're done making our 3 packages. And what this will actually do is it will create a store price list with these 3 packages as products. So that's just how it's created, using the system. And so when you go over to your store pricing, you'll see a new simple sales system price list. And I just want to put a little like asterisk next to it because you don't want to edit the Simple Sales System price list itself. If you edit the packages in the store pricing and don't edit them over here in the app itself, then that will just disconnect the products from the app. And so you don't want to mess with it in the store pricing, but we went over that a lot in another webinar as well too. And we're actually coming out with an update to this app too. We have a few other things that we're adding on to it. And one of those things is not being able to edit the packages in the store pricing. So that's going to get resolved pretty soon. And then we also are even adding an option where if a client purchases one package, but then they decide they want to upgrade to a more expensive package, there's going to also be an option for that too. That's coming in an update very, very soon. So it's not available right now, but it's coming out soon. So the next step for the app is setting up your actual packages themselves. If you're familiar with Pic-Time and you're familiar with the apps, you've pretty much seen a lot of these steps before. We've seen discounts and emails and banners, and we've also seen, download settings too. So we'll go ahead and click on this pencil icon to set up our download settings for package 1. And this is what if the client purchases package 1, then these are the download settings that will then be applied to their project. So for package 1, if I have 20 included free downloads, then I'll set my free high-res downloads to 20. And then maybe I want to give my client the option to purchase additional high-res photos. You can set this to any number you want. You can not include the downloads. You can set it to all photos if you want as well. And you can also change the download size too if you want to, do a different width and dimension for the high-res downloads. So, but for right now, we'll go ahead and do, 20 downloads for our package 1, and then we'll go ahead and click apply. And then we set up the discount that the client will actually receive for package 1. So this is the actual coupon that they'll be able to use in the store after they purchase this package. You can technically do any discount type that you want, but to really utilize the Simple Sales System in the best way possible, you'll want to use a $1 off coupon. And this will basically act as like a print credit for the client. And they'll be able to use the coupon code basically as many times as they want until they use up all of their print credit. So maybe for, package 1, we want to do maybe even a discount of 0, but let's go ahead and do, maybe $100 for a $100 store credit to use in their gallery. And you can also apply the discount to the shipping fee if you want, them to be able to receive free shipping with their $1 off. And you can also set a minimum order requirement as well. And you can also even allow discount stacking. You probably won't want to do discount stacking for something like this. This is more for advanced users, I would say, for people who know just exactly what sort of discounts are going on in their gallery at all times. And then, the description for the discount will show up in their shopping cart at checkout. So for this, we can just do $100 off or something like that. And then, of course, your coupon code, you can set up the code that you want. You can generate a random code if you want, or you can customize it to your own code. So I'll just put collection 1 for this one, but you can do whatever you want. And then we'll go ahead and click apply. And then you'll set up the email communication for package 1. So this is going to be the message that the client receives after they purchase this particular package. So we can click on the pencil icon to edit the email. And if you're familiar with the apps, you've seen this all before. We're able to change the image for our email. We have a bunch of different email images that you can choose from that go with all of the apps. You can also use the cover photo of the client's gallery, and you can also even upload your own image too. And then you can set up the email subject, the title, and your message. And one of the things that I really, really love about Pic-Time to make it nice and personal and individualized to all the clients is that you have all of these different dynamic text tokens that you can use. And with these, they'll basically autofill with the appropriate information depending on which project you assign it to and which app that you're using as well. So with this, we can greet our clients individually with their name. We can have it autofill with the discount and things like that. So there's a bunch of ways that you can personalize the message and make it feel to your clients that, you're with them and, you're here to help them in any way that you can. So we'll go ahead and click apply. And you can also even change, the button text for the email as well. And again, this will be the email that the client receives after they purchase one of these package options. And then the next two sort of sections are setting up the other two packages. So it's basically the same thing. You can set your download settings. You can set the credit that the client will receive after they purchase the package. And then you can also set up the email that the client will receive once they purchase the package. You can also add reminder emails too if the client hasn't used up their discount yet. But, that's just a personal preference for you as a photographer. And then, again, package 3 will set up the downloads, we'll set up the store credit that the client will receive, and then we'll set up the package communication if the client purchases this third package. And then this kind of next little section is the package campaign setup. And this is basically all the other elements of the app. So we've got our welcome email, and this is what we'll send out to the client when you're first inviting them to the gallery. So normally with Pic-Time, you go through the project share tab and you can type up your little invite email and send the gallery to them this way. But with this Simple Sales app, this announcement email is what takes the place of that initial invite email. So this is a great place to educate your clients about coming into their gallery, what's going to happen when they view the gallery, how long they'll be able to see their preview before they purchase a package, all that good stuff. So we'll go ahead and click on this pencil icon to edit it. And the fun thing about this email actually is that when the client clicks to view their gallery, that's when the gallery preview duration will kick in. So like Annemie was saying before, you give them like a 24-hour window or maybe like a 48-hour window where they're able to view the gallery and see the slideshow and maybe even another preview scene of images. And then after that duration is up, their preview goes away, but then they'll have the option to purchase those 3 packages. So once the client clicks on this announcement email to view their gallery, that's when the gallery preview will kick in. So this will be a great place to, let them know to grab a cup of tea or a glass of wine to sit down and enjoy, watching their gallery slideshow to get to choose their 3 packages. And so, again, here you can change the email image, you can change the subject, add the title, customize your message, and then also add the button text too. And then you can click apply when you're done. And then this 1-week reminder email is just in case the client doesn't click through to view their gallery. You can send them out a reminder 1 week later being like, hey, I've noticed that you haven't, seen your gallery preview yet. Here's a gentle reminder to check out your gallery. Let me know if you have any questions, sort of thing. You can also delete this email too if you want. You can obviously delete any of the emails, but so again, with this, you just click on the pencil icon and you can edit the email message to say basically whatever you like. And then you can set up the gallery preview duration. So this is the amount of time that the client has to actually view those 3 collections and their slideshow or their preview scene of images. So for this, we can choose to close the gallery preview after 1 day or, basically whatever day you want. But we generally suggest doing like 1, maybe 2 days at the most for maximum impact for your client. And then you can also adjust the time to 11:59 p.m. if you want the preview to end at 11:59 p.m. after 1 day or something like that. And then you can set up the actual expiration for the gallery. So this is when the gallery will expire after the client has purchased one of those 3 packages. So if I purchase package 1, 2, or 3, then my gallery will expire 12 months after I've purchased that package. You're also able to edit this to be whatever you want. Maybe you want to do it after 1 month, maybe 6 months, maybe you want to keep up their gallery for even longer than 12 months. But this will be where you can set up that actual expiration date. Generally, I would do, maybe a month for smaller sessions and then 12 months for, a longer session like a wedding or an event or something like that. And then you will choose the price list that the project will have after the client purchases a package. So before they purchase a package, the price list that's applied is that simple sales price list that displays the 3 packages. So after they actually purchase one of those collections, you can set which price list that your store will go to after they've purchased it. So for this, maybe we're setting this up for all of our family galleries. So we'll want to choose our family price list at the end. And then you can click done. And then you can also choose the watermark settings for this app as well. If you want to display the watermark during the preview and then remove it after they've purchased a package, for example, you have the option to hide the watermark after they've purchased. And then the last step is to leave any notes to yourself. This will pop up before you assign the app to the project. So in general, I like to do the discount that the client will receive and, maybe if any emails are sent out. So my note to myself for this would be, 3 packages, $300 off, $100 off, and then $600 off for the 3 collections. And then I would say, maybe the gallery expires after 12 months sort of thing. And then you can go ahead and click save. And then the app is sort of ready to go basically, and it's waiting to be assigned to projects. So with this app, we can set up that preview that the client can see before they purchase one of the packages. So for this app, we set it up and assign it in the specific project. So we'll go ahead and come over here to our project, and I'll click on my specific project, and then I'll come over here to the automations and discounts section. And if you're a photographer who's not familiar with Pic-Time yet, this is where you can add basically all of the different marketing strategies for this particular gallery. We have a bunch of different sort of pre-made ones that you can just really click on really quickly to add quickly to your gallery. Or you can, set all of these automations up to be customized to your particular voice and style. But I will go ahead and actually just unassign this app right now. And I'm going to switch this project to be back offline so that we can simulate it being a new project for our client here. So I'll go ahead and click more automations to add my simple sales system right here. So I'll go ahead and click on it. And this is the app assignment setup page. And for this app, we just want to select which scenes that the client can view before they purchase a package. So for this, you can choose all of the scenes in the gallery if you want, or you can just select, like a slideshow scene or a highlight scene so that the client can only see that when they are viewing the gallery for the first time. And then once they purchase that package, then the entire gallery and all of the scenes will open up for them, of course. So then we'll go ahead and click apply, and we'll click apply again, and the automation app is assigned and it's sort of ready to go. So it's pending start right now. It's going to switch over to wait for us to invite the client to our gallery. So let me actually just refresh the page and see if it's kicked in and done that yet. But yeah, I love this app. It's so fantastic, and it just automates, all of those emails for you too. So even, the invite email. So we'll go over here to the share tab. I've got my main client listed already. And so then I'll just click this send to client button, and this pop-up will appear letting you know that the app is going to send that announcement email. So I'll go ahead and just click OK. And then the email sends out to my client, and they're ready to view their gallery. And hopefully you're ready to make a bunch of money on it too. So that's pretty much the gist of getting it all set up.
Nice. So that was amazing, Lauren. Again, like your skills of setting things up are top notch, but also being familiar with the system helps. So I've seen John's comment. So for all the newbies here, this might feel a little complex. We do recommend watching our webinars about introing to sales automation, because basically the setup will feel more familiar to you if you used any of the automations before, or if you're familiar with the system. Basically, what this automation setup is, you just set up the bunch of actions that will happen one after another, being triggered either by client purchasing collection or maybe something else. So in this case, if I can have Annemie on, and if we could, as simply as we can, get like the brief overview of what this app is doing. So when you're assigning this to a client, it invites a client to the gallery. That's the first step, right?
Yeah, and just to sort of back up, all of this, like people should understand ahead of any of this, like before their session even happens, you want to have them sort of know that once the session is over, they're going to see a slideshow, it's a preview, then they're going to pick a collection, blah, blah, blah. You don't want to spring that on them.
Communication is the key.
Yeah,
again.
yeah.
Mm-hmm. So again, so the first step, they're being invited to the gallery, and the gallery will be only the one scene that you set up as a open scene. Am I correct?
Yeah, there is flexibility in the app. The way that you set it up is different. The way that I use it and the way that I recommend that people use it is that they create a preview scene, one single scene that gives their client everything they need to know, but no more than that. Ideally with as much emotional impact factor as possible. So that's why I like the slideshow option, but I know some people do like a watermarked gallery. Some people, like Lauren was saying, do a preview gallery. There are options.
Okay, and this is available for them for a limited time that you set up in the app as well, right?
Correct.
Your recommendation is?
I do 24 hours.
Because?
I think because I feel like 24 hours is enough time with the fact that they get to set the start time, right? And I have it spelled out really loud and clear in their email that says, hey, your gallery is ready. I have this whole wording on there that's like, but wait, don't click the button. Remember, don't hit the button until you're ready to sit down.
Gotcha.
And I love what you were saying, Lauren, about like, pour a glass of wine, cuddle up on the couch and like put this on your big screen to watch for the first time. So I encourage them to make an event of it because I want it to feel special. They've invested a bunch of time and money, right? So then they see their images and then they know that from the time that they click that button until 24 hours later is the time that they have to watch the slideshow, send it to their friends and family to get, feedback and, oh, your pictures are so great and all that sort of thing. And then I would say half the time people place their order shortly after they open that email and click the button. So it's like they watch the slideshow a few times and then they choose a collection. Other times people wait a couple of days and it doesn't really matter. The images go away, and unless there's something really wrong, they're going to want to purchase one of the 3 collections. So,
yeah, because so you're kind of also playing on that hype of their excitement of the images, right? And then the slideshow after that limited number of time disappears, and then they get to be presented with 3 collections.
Right. Well,
the
3
email
collections
that wrote before and put it in the app, right?
Yeah, and the 3 collections, of course, are available from right away when they get that email. They could purchase it immediately, or they can, anytime that they then go back to that email and click on the link, if it's after the window where they get to see their preview, then all they see are the 3 collections. So it's basically like you get that taste and then you're left wanting more. And the only way to get the full experience is to purchase a collection.
Awesome. That sounds amazing. And so then we have a question that I was kind of leading up to have some questions from the chat. So how many photos would you include in your slideshows? Is it all of the photos? Is it only favorite photos just to tease them?
So I think it depends on what your business model is. I include all the images from my sessions because I'm only presenting 40 to 60 images because it's a portrait session. It's an hour and a half long. If someone were trying to do this with a really large gallery, it might become a little more difficult, in which case I might use the option that you can do a slideshow of favorites and then a watermarked gallery of all the images, and that's your preview. So somebody still has a limited time to look at them, but they still feel like they're making a fully informed decision before they have to
like they
put their
saw
card.
everything, but were presented by slideshow first, so it has more impact, right?
That's the idea.
There was a lot of questions like, how do you make slideshows? Because like for Pic-Time newbies, Pic-Time can embed the slideshow from other platforms. You don't make the slideshow in the Pic-Time, you embed slideshow made in Smart Slides or Animoto, or maybe just you made a video and put it on a Vimeo and put that link in a scene, and that's a slideshow. What do you use? That's just a question from the crowd for slideshows.
I use Smart Slides. Yeah.
Use Smart Slides.
Yeah.
Great. And also, like I feel that probably, some people that have not yet been into the land of selling collections and so far have been to a lot of all-inclusive. There's a question is like, have you ever been pushed back from a prospective client, like say that like they didn't like that you don't include photos in the delivery, or had some, people just being like, nah, I don't want it.
I mean, sure, there are people who don't hire me. I do a lot. I'm a big fan of getting on the phone with people when they first reach out to you, because I think that left to their own devices, it's a lot to ask someone to understand anything that's beyond like, you pay me this money, I'll give you digital files. Like that is the sort of Tarzan version of, but at the price point that most of us need to charge in order to make a living, I feel like we owe it to our clients to give them a better experience. They're investing not only money with us, but also there's like this time and emotional investment when it comes to like getting ready for photos. It's a pretty vulnerable thing for a lot of people. So in return, I want to make sure that not only are they getting beautiful images, but they have physical products that they can put on their walls and things that will feel more meaningful to them. And they will feel more, when you get digital files, there's that like adrenaline rush or serotonin rush or whatever it is. But very quickly, you stop obsessing over them and life moves on and they kind of gather dust on a hard drive somewhere. I feel like with this system and with ensuring that your clients end up with products, not only are they going to have like a more lasting sense of value from the session, from the money that they invested, but they're also kind of constantly pinged like, oh, remember how great it was to work with Annemie? We should hire her again as they walk by the frame on their wall or whatever. So I feel like, there are so many all-inclusive photographers out there who are only providing digital. And I feel like it's a really big opportunity for a lot of photographers to kind of step their game up without having to go into this whole like song and dance door-to-door salesman thing that I think a lot of people are sort of turned off by the idea of sales because that's what they feel like it might need to be like that, but it doesn't.
And also there was discussion about this, that like, so you again charged you charge session fee, and then every collection is also a paid collection, but probably there are people doing a free session, maybe session for free and then charge for collections. Like, why would you say that, like in your system, like what's the philosophy behind? You said that it's a time thing, but would you say do you think like client get more invested because they paid for session fee or something like that? Like is there a value for a client in this particular way of doing things?
Yeah, I mean, first of all, I think that as a business person, you need to ensure that you're getting paid for your time. What if you, I'm trying to come up with an example that doesn't involve you just completely flubbing the session and screwing up and giving them terrible photos. But, for the most part, someone is going to want the end product, right? So they are assuming they're going to spend more, and you're assuming they're going to spend more. But there's that. But just in case they don't, for whatever reason, you want to make sure that they have paid you upfront at least a little bit for your time. Then they can walk away. And yes, I don't want to just get paid my session fee for the whole thing, but at least it's not nothing. On their end, I feel like or I guess this is also on my end, but I also want them to buy in mentally. If you just say, great, you want to hire me? Perfect. Let's meet on Tuesday. You don't have to pay me. I'll just go take your photos. First of all, I don't really feel like that gives a very professional, you're not valuing your time. So why would they value your time? And then also, what if they don't show up? Or what if they show up and do the shoot, but then never open your emails going forward because they just weren't taking it that seriously to begin with? I mean, we could have like a 10-hour long discussion about all of the psychology that goes into this. And it doesn't have to be a large session fee. I think that the beautiful thing about this system is I have now seen it work for people who charge thousands of dollars for portrait sessions. And I have seen it work really well for people who are, only in total making $500-600 for a session. So it ranges pretty widely, but so because it can be scaled up and down, but I do think that it is important to charge something to say, I'm meeting you, I'm taking your photos. That's worth something.
Yeah. So we could say that it can work for every type of photographer there is. Like whether you have to just wrap your head around that and find your way of doing things, like balance maybe the fees as well, right? We've been like Lauren, I think can confirm that we've had tons of successful photographers switching to that system as well, right?
Yeah, we have. I mean, I see photographers all the time who like come on and they're like, the simple sales system has totally changed my entire business, and it's really fun to see, because at the end of the day, we just want photographers to be more successful at your business and stuff. And so being able to see it actually work for all of these different sorts of photographers, no matter like even Annemie, like you were saying, no matter how large or small they're doing the session fee, or even like the 3 packages, like all of the photographers are making significantly more money than they were before using this system. And it's just really, really fun to see. And obviously the clients appreciate it more too, because now they're being able to spend money in the store and actually get like physical products. And like you were saying, hang up the frames on their walls in the living room and walking by and getting to be reminded of the beautiful photo shoot. So it's even, a really great way to maintain that client relationship over years and years even. So
yeah.
Great. I have one last question before we head up to our guests and maybe utilizing the system in their workflow. Why 3 collections? Because we've had discussions being like, hey, maybe 2 collections would work better and something like that. So what is your idea behind 3 collections?
I wish I could take credit for this. This is not really my idea. There is so much research that has been done over time that shows that 3 is kind of the magic number. You can give people fewer choices, but I like the fact that 3 feels like, for a lot of people, it feels like enough variety in the price point, but it's not so much that it's overwhelming to them. When you get up to like 4 or 5 decision points, then people start to freeze up. And I would say that's, as you're thinking about your business as a whole, I would look at all the decisions that you ask your clients to make and try. I mean, we have to lead people through a series of decisions at lots of different points, but you want to narrow the number of choices at each point. So 3 seems to be good. Amir and I went around and around when we were building this system, because my goal with every client is that they actually purchase the top package, and about 85% of my clients purchase my top package. And I've done a lot of things to push them toward that. the traditional thinking is like if you have 3 packages, you're generally aiming for the middle package, but it doesn't have to be that way.
Okay, that answers my question. Amazing. Lauren, if you have any questions for Annemie, maybe, and then we can get to the next section, which would be our guests.
Yeah, I think that's all my questions, actually. Yeah, I mean, I'm just really excited for all the photographers to play with this and see how it works. There's been a bit of a discussion in the chat on if this can work for European photographers. And we're actually going to be having a few guests on from I think one of our photographers is from France.
We have France and Belgium. Yeah, France and Belgium.
So this will definitely work for photographers, you know, no matter what region you're in. And yeah, shall we go ahead and just get into that section now that I'm talking about it?
I'm really excited to hear from other people. I love the fact that it's like creatives all want to do things kind of their own way. And what has been fun over the past year plus that you guys have had this app available is watching people take it and make it their own and make it really work for them.
Great. Okay, so if we missed any questions to Annemie will stick around with us, and after the guests, we'll have a panel when all of us will be on screen and we'll be able to answer some more questions. So if you missed any of these, sorry, bear with us till the end. And now actually that's a part that might be interesting for all of you thinking like, hey, how can I change it a little bit, maybe customize it for my workflow? Because like the power of simple sales system is that what Annemie designed and is suggesting, like based on her experience, is something that works. It's something that works for her. It's something that works for tons of photographers. It's something that generated that much of a profit that it stood out among other photographers in Pic-Time. So that is why we recommend maybe using it this way and trying to, think that this is the way that will work. But if you are wanting maybe to start like easier or like have easy switch from all inclusive, we have photographers that are offering like first package for free, for example. So it's like kind of included in a session fee. And our first guest that I'm gonna invite on a stage is Elke from Belgium. Wait, I'm gonna just have you here, Elke, and if you could turn on your camera and your mic, that would be lovely.
Hi.
Hey, how's it going?
Great. I'm in pretty awful light, so ignore the orange and pink hues. Just adjust the white balance in your head.
No worries, no worries. So Elke is a photographer. You are a wedding photographer from Belgium.
I am.
And you switched a little bit your business from wedding photography in the recent year from wedding photography to sessions, and we're going to talk a little about that. Before that, we've met. That's a cool thing that we've met in real person at Way Up North event. So you're, and actually, I think Pic-Time picked you up from a post that you had in a Way Up North community being like, hey guys, if you want to utilize that downtime of COVID, I made really good profit using Pic-Time. And that was the moment like, whoa, Elke is just doing great. So that is amazing. Good for you.
Thank you.
And just tell us this like, how did it start with 2020 being ultimately successful for you?
Okay, well, I guess I don't have to explain why there wasn't a lot of money in weddings in the past year. So actually I started using the simple sales system, not because I wanted to make money. I kind of rolled into it. So I was stuck at home like lots of people in March or April, I don't remember. And Belgium was hit pretty heavily with the virus. And I received an email from a hospital I used to donate blood at, and they were lacking funds. They needed to buy ventilators for their patients. And I decided I would do kind of like a charity giveaway. So I promised people if they would donate over 160 euros to the hospital, that I would give away a free session to the 3 first people who had donated. And in the end, I think about 12 people donated for over 2,000 euros, which I thought was really cool.
Wow.
Yeah. And so I gave the first 3 people their free session, but I wanted to do something for the other people as well. So I thought maybe I should just do mini sessions, and I had never tried them before. I thought they wouldn't be my thing at all. I like to take my time. I like to have like very personal contact with my clients, but this would be like a perfect solution. It would be a cool way to thank them, basically. And when I planned them, it turned out I had a couple of free spots open, so I sold them. The first time I sold a mini session, and they sold really, really well. And then due to a heat stroke, I had to split the days up because otherwise people would just melt away. And I sold another bunch of sessions. And before I went in, I decided to take a deep dive into the simple sales system. So I worked it all out, and I think I did in total like 3 or 4 days of mini sessions, all using the simple sales system, and they just were a huge success. And I made, I think, over 7,000 euros from them.
That's amazing. That is amazing.
Yeah.
And that's like, I love that story, because like for wedding photographers out there who are all like always afraid to take that leap into the land of maybe mini sessions, or maybe, you know, trying a different ways of utilizing our, you know, knowledge of being able to take photos. That is a great way. Plus, we as a wedding photographers has like all these clients that are getting married, but then they will have children, and like they are like ultimately they would probably love to come back to us, but most of us don't have either time or not willing to advertise our, you know, maybe family shooting or mini sessions that can be actually probably, if not, I don't know, if not even more profitable than weddings sometimes, like at the end, if you like get that snowball rolling.
If you do it well, I think so, yeah. But one of the other, so I looked at all the simple sales information Pic-Time had up, and in the end, I decided to buy Annemie's course to really, I wanted to really understand the whole system and the philosophy behind it and how to really make it work for me. And one of the reasons I did mini sessions as well was, in the springtime, I thought, okay, I'll do a bunch of family sessions. But when they started rolling in, I immediately panicked. I was like, this is a lot of work and I'm way underpaid to do all this work because my rates were just way too low. And I think in Belgium, but maybe this is true for the whole of Europe, I don't know a lot of professional family photographers full-time. Most people do it part-time, or it's like something they do aside from weddings. So we were never really forced to look into a decent business model for family sessions. So that's also why I did the mini sessions. Immediately I noticed like, this isn't working at all. So I put it all into mini sessions, and now I'm getting ready to really launch family sessions, and the prices are going up like 300, 400%, and
nice.
We'll see how that works.
That's great. So if you could like for those of you who are totally new to that kind of thing, like how did you set it up? Like you charge session fee, right?
Yeah. So
and then what are the collections in your system?
So the last mini sessions I did was a session fee of 225 euros. And then so I had 3 collections, the first of which was included in the session fee, but I'm gonna change that. So I'm gonna lower the session fee, and the first collection will be a lower price because I noticed that when people are kind of primed, like I probably won't have to pay anything anymore, they're less likely to buy a collection. They'll just pick the free one.
I'm guessing that's the like probably Annemie would jump in and be like, yes, this is the reason the first collection is not free.
Yeah, it's just, it's basic psychology. Just, I could really tell.
But sorry to interrupt you, but this is an amazing experience because you thought like, no, I cannot charge for the first basic session, and you did that for free for a while, and now you're like, oh, I have to do it because that will work, right?
Yeah, and also like the first basic collection didn't include print credit, and I really made a switch mentally from I never want to see an ugly print from my clients ever again. I want them to print beautiful photos on beautiful paper, beautiful products, and it's just so depressing, you know, when you deliver professional photos and then you receive a thank you note on like this really awful paper, like they just printed it out from their own printer. So I want to give my clients a lot of value. And part of that, I think, is in guiding them towards beautiful products as well. So that's what I'll be changing. And then the other collections I had were like 150 euros and 300 euros.
Mm-hmm.
And the top collection included all the photos and 70 euro print credit, I think. But so now I'm going to be changing it up to a session fee of about 500 euros. And then the first collection will start at 700. And I already sold a bunch of them. So,
like, I have to say that chat goes on fire in love with you.
I'm trying not to look
this
because
woman is a genius and she has the most amazing glasses ever. So
yes, my boyfriend doesn't like them at all. So I'm glad to receive some validation.
You are winning the crowd.
Cool.
So let us know how we can get in touch with you. If anyone wants to, I don't know, send you a DM on Instagram. What's Instagram?
So it's at Elke, so ELKEVDENDE.
All right, we'll have Aga to type that out in the chat for those of you. So I hope you will be happy to answer some DMs if anyone
of course,
wants to have any questions. If we could, like, thank you so much, Elke. That was amazing. I love it. And it's so great to see you again. If you could stick around, but turn off your camera and mic, and I'll invite our second guest.
Okay, will do. Thanks.
That was amazing, right? Give some love in the chat for Elke and go follow her on Instagram. Wait, the next guest we have a Danielle from US Ende. Promote to panelist. We should have Danielle here soon. Hey.
Hi.
How are you?
Good. How are you?
We are very fine. We're very excited. We have tons of people watching us and probably a lot more even watching the replay later on. So that's very exciting time. So you have a brand. You're not working under your name. You have a brand, Baby Kiddo. Is that right?
Baby Kiddo. That's right. Yeah.
Great. And you do so as far, because like we kind of spied on you a little bit. So I've seen your website, seen your galleries. You were doing these pop-up sessions, and what I really loved was that super colorful vibe of each session, like the overlay thing. That's amazing. I love that. So if you could tell us a little bit about your approach to those mini sessions with the Simple Cells system.
Yeah, sure. So just a little bit of background about me. I was a wedding photographer. Also, I'm based in Philadelphia, Pennsylvania. And COVID wiped out all of my weddings for the year. And I have 2.5-year-old twins. So I'm hiding from them in my bedroom because we have a nor'easter and they are home from school today. So excuse the lighting. Anyway, they were home for a very long time. And for the first 6 months of COVID, I really wasn't, I was focused on my twins and I wasn't able to really make any money. However, I was able to finally send them back to school. And the first day that we sent them back to school, I had the idea of doing these mini sessions. Obviously, the virus is bad everywhere, but especially here in the States, it's pretty awful. And I wanted to be able to work in a way where I didn't have to be in anybody's home and expose them or expose myself or my family to COVID. So I came up with the idea of doing these pop-up sessions. As a wedding photographer, I had already been doing twice a year. I had been doing mini sessions with families, 20 minutes, $150, all of the images from the sessions. And since that was the only thing that was really available to me, in the fourth quarter of the year, I decided to pick that up, but I recognized that there was no way to really make a lot of money if I was only charging $150 for a session and then doing, maybe if I was lucky, maybe doing 10 in a day.
So like a quantity over a kind of system.
Yeah, exactly. So what I learned about simple sales, and what I ended up doing was I tweaked my offerings. I decreased the amount of time that I was shooting. So I went from a 20-minute session to a 10-minute session.
Wow.
And I don't know. Yeah. So being a wedding photographer, I feel like I've been able, I know how to get a bunch of portraits very, very quickly. So
yes,
I think that
we are limited to that portraits time, right?
There's a limited amount of time. If someone has a church ceremony and it goes over by 30 minutes and it's in November and you have 9 minutes to get all of the portraits done before the sun sets. So I changed my structure. 10-minute sessions. I scheduled 4 in an hour. So I gave myself a 5-minute window, and I started offering these full day pop-up sessions. I kept my $150 session fee, and I included 3 photos in that session. And then I also added, a middle and top package that included more downloads and then print credit as well. And doing that, I was able to increase my revenue from, just doing 150 and then 20-minute sessions. I was only doing 2 an hour because I was giving myself like a 10-minute buffer. So I was going from making $300 an hour to now giving myself the ability to book 4 sessions in an hour. And with the 150 session fee and the top price being an extra $350, I have the opportunity to make $2,000 in an hour.
That's nice.
Yeah.
And so you are also like this kind of product of your mini sessions with simple cells. It's also like a product of COVID.
Yes. Yeah, you could say that for sure. I needed to provide for my family, and I needed to think outside the box to, decide how to do that in a way that was comfortable for me and comfortable for the families as well. Because a lot of the families that I've photographed, they have brand new babies that haven't even met another person, So I wanted to make sure everything was outdoors and everything was very quick and safe. And, give them the opportunity to, make those memories with their families in like a very short, quick, affordable amount of time.
And not only for them, but also for you. You're like maximizing kind of your time because, like, again, twins.
Yeah. Yeah.
Hands full.
So, yeah. And, in doing this, I've really come to the realization that, I do have the opportunity to make a boatload of money and do it in a way that will allow me to like spend time with my family on the weekends. I ended up photographing between September 1st and the end of 2020. I photographed 75 families and I made $30,000 US.
What?
Yeah. So it didn't recoup, my wedding losses, but I was able to, it was all me. And I was really able to just kind of like by plowing through all of these sessions. I mean, there were some days that I was doing, I think the most I did was 20 in one day. So, yeah.
Amazing.
Yeah, yeah.
That's congrats, bravo.
Thank you so much.
I think I could hear, laptops being closed, like, oh no, what? And people are going crazy in the chat as well. So let us know, where we can find you, and what's your Instagram?
Sure. I'm at Hey Baby Kiddo.
Okay, we'll have Aga also type that in the chat. People ask about editing, like how, do you edit yourself?
So I have again, this is like my second business, right? I'm a wedding photographer, and I've learned a lot from that business. And I've learned that there's a lot that I really don't enjoy doing. So I outsourced. The thing that I really don't like is culling. So I ended up outsourcing my culling, and I edited everything. Edited everything myself. Now that may seem like a lot of work. However, all of my pop-up sessions are in the same spot. I have 3 locations that I use on any given weekend. So the background is the same, the lighting is the same for the most part. I mean, obviously, you know, if I'm there for a couple of hours, the lighting changes a little bit. But because of that, it's pretty much just like a click and, you know, adjust sliders here and there and output. I did that intentionally. Anybody who does like in-home sessions, you know, the lighting's like not really that great sometimes, and you end up spending a lot of time editing. I'm delivering anywhere between 35 and I max out at 100 photos within these 10 minutes. I know that sounds like a lot, but again, because everything is kind of controlled environmentally, I'm able to really within a day. I do all of my editing on Fridays, and I allot 4 hours of time for like these big sessions to just, you know, dump them out. Really, the thing that takes me the longest time is exporting out of Lightroom, because everything else is pretty much controlled.
So Friday is your Lightroom day.
Friday is my Lightroom day. Yeah. So.
Just one more question, because you said that what is included in the first that free collection of yours?
Sure. Yeah. So everyone pays a $150 session fee for the 10 minutes, and they get 3 photos.
3 photos. So
high-res
downloads.
Yes, 3 downloads. So there are a lot of people who just take that and run. I'm okay with that, because it does kind of lower the barrier for entry for more families, and it gives them the opportunity to maybe down the road book more sessions. And this can be, we can talk about this more when we break out, but I actually then took the Pic-Time simple sales system and took it a step further on my end and created a membership program for families that they can, they're paying basically the simple sales session fees over the course of a year, spread out into monthly payments. And they're able to then quarterly have updated family photos with me for these 10-minute sessions.
That's amazing. I love it. I love it. We'll have some more questions for you, because like the chat is going really on fire, but we need to stick to the agenda. We'll have 2 more guests, and then we'll bring you up again, and we'll have some more question and maybe discussion, because that's also a thing that some of these, I think it might be worth to hear different opinions on the same subject. Thanks so much again for sharing your insight. That is mind-blowing, actually.
Thank you.
Love it. People call you Super Mama. So yeah. Great stuff. Thanks so much. So if you could turn off your camera, as I will invite Caroline. Caroline, if you're there, I need you to raise your hand right now. So we will have, so we're kind of mixing, you know, we're going from Europe to States, now back to Europe again. I'm just waiting for Caroline to, well, maybe I'll do it manually. I'll find her. If Caro is here, let's see. Hey.
Hey.
How are you?
I'm very well. How is everybody?
I think everybody's on fire right now.
I know. I've been following. It's very good. Very, very good.
It's been great. So yes. We have not met. You are from France, but like I've been told, and also like I did some spying on you. You've traveled a lot, and you made like a kind of a big trip everywhere, and then get back to France. And is that where you are right now?
Yes, correct. I've been living in France again since July 2018. And I came from Malaysia, that was the last post, and that's actually where I had started photography. So I've been in France now on the French Riviera for nearly 3 years. Wait, don't know. We've missed a whole year now with COVID, so I don't know where we are.
Yeah.
Something like that.
All right, that's great. So that is a big change from Malaysia to France. I guess it would, like, it was difficult to, you know, start your business again, like kind of from scratch. So but before I'm gonna let you talk about this, I'm just gonna say that Caro is a big in the Pic-Time community. She has her own community as well, and she's sharing a lot of Pic-Time love. So thanks so much for sharing Pic-Time love, Caro. And yeah, so how was that starting from scratch for you in like the new marketplace, and how did you utilize that? Because like, so you shoot family sessions. You're not wedding photographer. You were not wedding photographer. Am I correct?
You're correct. So in Malaysia, I started as a family, and I did a bit of wedding photography on the side. But coming to France, I had also started to back up a bit. I used to be a teacher for quite a while before that, and coming to France opened opportunities for putting teaching and photography together. So now I have workshops. So I have sort of a stream of income that comes from the workshop. So I decided to leave the wedding photography and concentrate on the workshops and family photography only. So when I arrived in France, bearing in mind I'd left France when I was about 17, 18, I knew nothing about what it was like to live here whilst making money. I didn't know anything about the market, the cost of living, everything. So when I arrived in France, I already was using Pic-Time, but I think timing was awesome because I started to get to know what Annemie was doing. And I had tons of pieces of paper everywhere trying to work out what collection, at what price, with what prints, how many, what size. And I was like, and Annemie had this course that she'd set up, and I was like, right, I'm going to try that, because it took a while to settle back in France. I have 2 kids also, and business wasn't a priority. And then I saw this course, and this course was like, you do this, and then you do that, and then you calculate this, and then you set that up. And I was like, that's my jam. And within like a few weeks, I had worked out my new prices. I had worked out my collections. Obviously, the back end, like setting it up in Pic-Time, was using a bit of time. But then once that was set up, my life was changed. I could spend more time marketing for my new business here, because nobody knew that I was here, and everything was set up on Pic-Time with the simple sales system. What it did also was that I know that we have to study a little bit the market, but what that did to me, the simple sales system, was to really concentrate on what income I wanted to have, how much time I wanted to spend photographing families. And it kind of raises the competition a little bit in the market. And I stopped asking myself questions like, ooh, are people going to like this? Ooh, are they going to hire me? Ooh, and what if this, what? I was like, no, I'm going to set the tone here with my rhythm, and it's working fine. Super fine, even. Very good.
Love it. So you went from like what you want and what you need, so like strategically go down the path, like reverse engineering, like how much do I need, like what do I need to do? That's brilliant, actually. And so what like you charge session fee, right? But you don't give any collections for free, am I right?
No, I charge a session fee, and in fact, a lot of photographers around me had said, "Caro, you can't do that because nobody will want to buy from you. Like, people want something." And I said, "Well, they're getting something. They're getting me. I've got experience. I know what I'm doing. I also teach photography. Like, I have a value that I bring in the session." So I decided that my time with a family was worth the session fee without something, to go with that, as in downloads or prints.
Love it. That is brilliant, actually, and I do love what like that you said. They're getting me, like you value yourself because you know what are you doing, and again, and you're in Europe and you're in France. So that sets a tone for all these people. Like, hey, will this work in Europe? Like, I guess it will work everywhere because that's just how it is. It's like you provide an actual value, and like if the communication is right, then it will work. So my question is like, how do you communicate like that packages with the clients? Are you also like a phone call person that you will jump on a phone call and just explain them like what's going to happen, or you have, I don't know, some email templates, some brochures that you send out?
I have a bit of a mix. I have email templates, so I use Google Sheets so I can have them saved, and I have my workflow set up. And so I've got like first email after inquiry, then I have after phone call. I mean, I have a few templates like this that I adapt according to what people have given me through their first contact. I wasn't a phone call person, didn't really think about it, but then within the system, I found that had two positives. The first one is that if people absolutely hate talking to people on the phone, they don't bother going for the phone call. And so that kind of sieve a little bit the people who are going to put in the effort or not. And then the second thing that it does is that when they speak to me, I feel like they like me already, and that we find that we have a conversation, we found things in common. And I can explain really carefully the system. Like I've had to really write it down, and now it's become an easy conversation to have. I would say that 90% of people I get on the phone book, and they book within days. They always feel like it's really clear. So I think like the phone call really helps actually. And I've grown to love the phone calls. I really have. I'm using also Acuity so that people find it easy at the end of a template email that I've adapted to just click on a button and book the phone call. And then that gets into my diary, and I need to be organized. I don't know, like, you know, if we are parents, we'll relate. It's like life is crazy. So having that on the calendar already and having a notification and be able to organize around that is awesome.
So you use that technology to your favor. Love it.
I try.
Could you give some examples of these collections that you have? But because I'm guessing that also for Europeans' perspective, this is something like, hey, like how to like balance this. So like what is included in the first collection?
So the first collection starts at $380. It has 10 digital files, and it's got a €50 print credit.
Gotcha.
And my last package, I put €300 credit because I wanted the last package to be the one that they can feel like they can have an album. And I work with QT album, and I love the album, and I want my clients to have one in their hands. So I always insist on that bit, and actually have made a little video. It's like a screen QuickTime video that I include in my email, so people can have a look beforehand and say, "Ooh, I can make that album." And then I kind of demonstrate a little bit how it's easy in Pic-Time to make your own album and to have it shipped to your home. The second collection.
Sorry, I have to say, like, again, that is amazing. So you embed, like, you create a scene with a video of yourself showing the physical product.
Oh, I don't show myself. It's just a screen
you show
recording.
the product, but your hands maybe.
Oh yeah, because I talk with my hands, but I show them as I'm doing it. I show them with the screen recording. So I show them how to kind of resize, how to select the pictures, how to use the templates.
Gotcha. Screen sharing.
Yeah.
But that's lovely. That's a great idea, and I think, you know, the hardest part is to start, right? Like what you said, you had this
Oh,
question
yeah.
in your head being like, oh, does that, like, will that work? Like, is it too expensive? Will people love that? Like, just start already and try. There's like, you know, you're going to learn on, if it's not going to work, you're going to learn something from it. But
Yes.
apparently it does work.
It does. It does. I am the queen of overthinking things and asking way too many questions, and I could just procrastinate like that for hours. So yeah, just do it.
Just do it.
Learn how to set it up. There's plenty of help as well and support. How many times I have been on the chat with Pic-Time and said, this is not working, how come? And we always find a way, always. And then you feel so good afterwards. And I feel great because I feel like I look after my clients super well. And I really think that with the simple sales system, it really has helped me to look after them really well and set up a system that's clear, that flows easily, and it's a nice experience, not just the session itself and the fun we have as a family, but before and then after. And I think that at the end of the day, I think that will play a part in differentiating me to other photographers in the area or in France.
Amazing. Great stuff, Cara. Thanks so much for sharing your knowledge with us. Stay with us. We have some more questions incoming, but we'll keep them for the panel. And if you could turn off your camera, where to find you, we'll have Aga giving Instagram handle, but can people DM you on Instagram? Would you be okay with that?
They can. Absolutely. Yes, of course.
Go for it. Like, especially you guys, Europeans.
Thank you so much.
Go for it. That'd be amazing to, you know, get that knowledge from experienced Caro. Love it. Thanks, Caro. And we'll have one more guest here. We do have, Colie coming in. Colie James. Are you with us, Colie?
Cute.
Hey.
Turn on my video. I swear I can do this. Hi.
How are you doing?
I'm good. How are you?
We are very well. Where are you in the world?
I'm right outside of Boulder, Colorado, so near Denver.
Nice.
In
That's
USA.
far away from me. And that's like, so we again, with this webinars, we're kind of having this international team, having people from Australia and answering chats, me in Europe, a lot of people in Europe, and then you guys in US. So Cara, I've also spied on you. I don't know if you've listened, that I've spied on every single guest of ours, because we have not met yet. And I do have to say, your website is amazing. I love it. Like,
thank you.
It just speaks to my heart and to my eyes, like when I look at it. So I was immediately sold to the way of the way you do things. And as far as I could see, you do kind of documentary style of family photography, and you include a video in it. Am I right?
The majority of my clients do hire me for a film. It's really rare that I only have
use both film and photo in your collections in the system. Can you tell us something about it?
Yeah. So when I first bought into the simple sales system, first on Pic-Time, and then I actually bought her course so that I could figure out how to calculate the collections, I didn't have any intention of using it for my filmmaking clients. This was simply a way for me to get more money out of the people that only wanted photos. And then I realized very quickly that, okay, no, this could make me a lot more money overall. So I took her normal system, which is you charge a session fee and then you have 3 collections. And all I did was increase the session fee up front. So it's $350 for photo only, and I charge $800 if they want to film. Now, that's just the session fee. They don't get anything with that. But I made the decision in the collections to just keep them the same. So if they choose my bottom collection and they hired me for video, they get the film. The same with the middle, the same with the top. Eventually, I might not offer the film in the lowest collection, but that hasn't really been a problem thus far. So,
love it. So, like, I need to get a little bit more into the way you, because like I cannot imagine you're doing 10-minute sessions with video, right? Or like document. Yeah, like you cannot document family like in a limited number. Like, so what is your approach to the session itself?
My approach is that I become a member of your family and I hang out until I've gotten what I need. I mean, I sell them as 2-hour sessions for photo, or almost 3 hours if it's photo and it's video. But the first thing that I say when I walk into someone's house is, hey guys, I'm here until I get what I need. So let's get comfortable. Let's just let you do your thing. And when I'm done, I'll let you know. So, I mean, usually if I'm doing a film, it's about 3 hours, and I do shoot photo and film on the same cameras. I do shoot with 2 cameras, but I shoot photo and film on both of them. I shoot one with a 24 and one with a 50. So I just pick up whichever one I need the focal length for.
Love it. Love it. Like we have your website already in a chat, because people are like, what's your website? What's your website? Can you share it? Like what I've seen is like that, like what clients are getting is this very intimate, personal, product of a film or photos that they look like a casual day. So it's like totally different approach. And I think for some of the wedding, like, I don't know if you have been a wedding photographer before.
Nope.
No,
families only, and I've only done documentary the whole time, so I've never done portraits.
You've never done anything portraits. Yeah, that's amazing. But like I'm guessing for wedding photographers who are used to kind of like documenting, that kind of could be also like easy, step to the new, zone, or like to, new kind of business. And how, so you said session fee and then 3 collections. And would you say that because all the collections are paid collections again, right?
Yes. Yes. They are $750 to $1,450, lowest to highest. My lowest is $750 with 20 included images and $100 print credit. My highest is $1,450 with all the images, which I promise 70, and I usually deliver more than that, because again, I'm at their house for like 3 hours, and they get a $700 print credit in that largest collection.
Yes, that makes sense. I love it, because we do see here like the totally different approach being like, hey, this is more than high end, because like people pay more, but then you spend much more time than just 10 minutes and editing, while the other system works as well. It's like maximizing time. So like totally depending on you guys in the audience, like what vibe are you into? Are you into, not having maybe much time and trying to maximize and having those short sessions, pop-up sessions? I really love the way like Danielle was doing. And now I really enjoy what you're saying, like the documentary, that you spend as much time as you need. You become a part of the family as well. So that's great. And how long have you been using Simple Sales System with Pic-Time?
So I was actually on that very first call that Aga did with people who were interested. So that was June of 2019, I think. And then I officially switched over in December of 2019. So before COVID hit, I had already decided to switch. So unlike some of the other panelists, like I was going in this direction before we shut down. But I will say that one of the things that's different about me versus the other panelists that we've had is that I am still shooting in people's homes. So instead of me trying to find a way to not go into someone's home, I just severely had to limit my session availability. I used to shoot 2 sessions every week, and now I only shoot 1 so that I don't take the risk of sharing COVID from one house to the next. So even though I shot less in 2020, because of Annemie, I actually made more money, which was great.
Love it. Yes. And one more question, because that's actually came to my mind. What is included in your open scene? So what do you show at first to your clients?
So that's really interesting. So because I have clients that buy films, I don't really feel the need to show them a slideshow, but here's what I do. My film delivery is way later than my photo delivery. So I outsource. I know you asked one of the other panelists. I send all of my images to the image salon. I am very happy. It is the only way that I'm able to spend as much time as I can making the films, because I don't worry about the images. So when someone logs into a Simple Sales gallery, I am doing the slideshows and then they get their images. But if they've hired me for a film, that actually doesn't come until almost a month later. I try to get them their images as fast as possible. So I promise 7 to 10 days for the gallery to be delivered, because I want them to, you know, be anticipating their images. I want them to spend as much money as possible. So that's how I handle my preview gallery. They get the films after.
And how about products? I've been told.
We're going to talk about products because yes, I grabbed my products. So unlike a lot of people who switch over to the Simple Sales and Pic-Time, I use Pic-Time Labs, but Pic-Time does not offer any of the products that I love that I have been offering to clients before. So while I have everybody buy a collection in Pic-Time and they pick their images in Pic-Time, I have added all of my favorite products as custom products, and I self-fulfill everything. So this is my favorite wall art piece. It is a thin wrap from Bay Photo. And so you might know, for here in the States, Bay Photo is one of their labs, but they don't offer this product. My second favorite piece of wall art is bamboo mounted images.
Wait, do you have some assistants giving this to you next to you?
No, they're right here on my desk. I was ready. This is bamboo mounted image. And again, I get this from Bay, but it's not offered in the Pic-Time store. And then my base album is offered in the Pic-Time store. This is the lay flat that comes from Bay Photo.
Love it.
This is my more economical option for albums. And then from QT Albums, which I know Kara mentioned, I use their Bloom book, but the Bloom book is not in the Pic-Time store. So this is one that only comes in raw linen. It is photo paper, lay flat. But so all of my items are self-fulfilled. So they place their order on Pic-Time. I download all of their images. I place the orders myself. They come to my house. I make sure that everything looks good. And then I drive it to my clients' houses. Because again, I'm like a member of the family. I spend a lot of time with them. The kids get really excited when I come back to bring the mom and dad. And I also usually bring them some kind of gift too, like a new board game or something like that when I drop off their products.
Love it. This is amazing. Colie, that's lovely. People love you in the chat as well. Like I think all of our panelists have been amazing today. So give it up to Colie. That was super great. Can people DM you on Instagram? Are you open to?
Happy to answer questions.
Love it. So Aga, if you could just put Colie's Instagram in the chat, that would be lovely. And please stay with us. I'll invite all of the other panelists now to just turn on their cameras and microphones, so we can have like a round of 15 minutes of a panel to maybe answer some questions, to maybe discuss something about. So before any new question hits, I do have one for all of you, maybe in the same order that we've been talking. Like, do you have certain plans to maybe change something, or like a strategy for upcoming season? So we've heard, like, Elke, you said that you want to change the free session to a free collection to a paid collection, right?
Yes, and I'll be implementing I'll be implementing simple sales, not just for mini sessions, but for all of my sessions. And yeah, so the pricing will be insane. I think I'll probably be left out of the room by most people, and definitely some other photographers. But honestly, it's the only way to make a decent income from the photos. I did the math when I took Annemie's course. And at the prices I was working at, I had to do 200 family sessions a year to make kind of okay income, which is just insane. So yeah, it's definitely something that has to change in my business and in the market as a whole, I think, in Belgium.
Great, love it. Danielle, how about you? Do you have like a certain strategy, ideas for the coming season?
Well, I think what I'm going to lean into more for this year is the membership idea, and really flesh that out and market that to the people who've already used me, and then potential clients as well.
Awesome, good stuff. Caro? So I'm just going to do that one. And then we have a chat with Annemie to maybe get over your ideas.
For me, I want to be looking after clients who don't necessarily purchase the highest package. And I don't have something already in place for people who have purchased the first collection or the second collection. So I'm going to look into that to make sure that I look after them after, as well as I look after before.
That's awesome. So like a kind of client service, taking to the next level, right?
Well, I'm thinking like using more apps than from Pic-Time, you know, coming back with some euro off or some percentage off or something. I have to think and implement something so that I don't let them just go at the end. And I feel like there's space to grow there and keep nurturing.
Love it. And Colie, for you?
So the one thing that I want to do, and I talk about this in Annemie's private student group for the SSB, is that I want to make sure that my clients are buying more than just single prints. This first year, I didn't really put a lot of effort into how they were spending their print credit. So for 2021, I want to be a lot more deliberate in helping them select products that I think would look great in their house, in terms of sending them like videos of my favorites specific for them, or maybe a few how-to videos on how to order other things. I haven't quite worked that out yet, but I want my clients to order different things than they did in 2020. So I got to figure out how to make that happen.
Great. So Annie, what do you think about that? Like, you see photographers all around the world using your system and, you know, making it work for their workflows. Like, is this exciting?
Oh my God, it's so inspiring. I feel like it's that hive mind thing, right? It's like I sort of opened up a door, and then so many amazing creative people, including these 4 women, have just sort of like come in and come up with all these amazing ideas. And it's been really, it has actually up-leveled my service to my clients as well, because this concept of video was one that I sort of introduced as like hey, we should all be doing this, but I wasn't really doing much of it yet. One of the things that I do is that I have created a walkthrough video of the Pic-Time gallery experience that I just made a one-off. I used some of my own personal travel photos. I didn't make it specific to a client gallery. And it's like a 10-minute video, so it's not insignificant. And that goes out to my clients about 2 days before I'm ready to send them their gallery. So they are really excited about the fact that they're about to see their photos. I'm reminding them like they're just about here. You're going to be excited, but let me show you how this amazing gallery that you're going to receive is, you know, how many cool features it has. So I show them how to download their photos. I remind them right before they have to go through the process about the fact that they're going to see a slideshow and they're going to purchase a thing. So I just made like a screen capture video, which you can do with Loom or any other piece of software. And that has not only reduced a ton of questions that I used to get about how to, you know, I can't figure out how to download my photos or whatever the case may be. I do a little bit of instruction like Caro was talking about in terms of like how you get into the store. And I start to show them some of the products. And I very casually just talk about like, oh, I love this product because of X, Y, and Z. So what that does is it gets them even more excited, and it makes their experience once they get in that much more seamless. So it reduces any friction that would stop them from hopefully purchasing. But yeah, these ideas just like keep surfacing because of the people who are using it in all their different ways. And I love the fact that you've got like, you know, Danielle is using this at volume, and then Elke is talking about like, I have to raise my prices. Both of those things are profitable. So, you know, if you're in an area where you don't feel like people are going to spend more than a certain amount of money, that's fine. You just have to work the math.
Exactly. And I also love how Caro said like that she started from the big picture to reverse engineer the whole system work for her. So I do have one question for all of you, because this has been a question for like every panels we had. Someone asked that question, like, how do you market? Do you have any tips for marketing? Do you have anything specific to your product that you're trying to sell, like for example this pop-up shoots, because that's quite interesting. So if you could share with us some tips and tricks for marketing, maybe like if you could start with Annemie, if you have any for us.
I do. I have a lot of tips and tricks for marketing. I am a big believer in email marketing, and being consistent and reaching out to people, because I feel like whereas, with social media, you're sort of out there in the noise. If you can bring people into your atmosphere and get a little more of their direct attention, they're much more likely to be sort of thinking about you on a regular basis. And you're just sort of top of mind when it comes time for them to hire you. So I think the power of email marketing is often overlooked by photographers. And it doesn't have to be like a long email chore. It can be a very visual experience. So that's one. I think video is another one that's really good. So not only on, only with existing clients, but you can use video as a marketing tool. You can use it on your website. You can use it on social to bring people in. I think that we are as a society sort of being trained to absorb information that way more. So meeting people where they are. And then just being consistent. That's like the number 3, but also the number one is being consistent about what you do.
That's great. Thanks so much for those tips. How about you, Elke? Do you have any specific, ideas? How will you market this year? How will you try to, get your photos in front of others?
I started email marketing as well, but I noticed that people would receive the email and then get in touch through social media to ask follow-up questions. So I kind of gave that up because I thought it was like double the work. So I started posting stories instead. But I think I'm pretty consistently present on social media. I do have systems in place for email marketing, but for now, social media works really well for me. And I agree with what Annemie said about being consistent, like make sure that your work is top notch before anything else.
Is it like for you, Elke, because like you book sessions, like clients just reach out and they be like, hey, I want to book sessions, and you give them calendar, be like, yeah, this is my free dates. Is this how it works for you?
Yeah, for the mini sessions, I pick the date.
Okay.
For the family sessions, I'm gonna do a whole new thing, like more day in the life kind of photography. But I'm starting a sort of boudoir photography thing. It's not really boudoir because it's very unsexy and more arty-farty, hazy pictures. And I've got I'm almost ready to launch, and I've already got a couple of people who booked, and it's mostly through social media again. So I just kind of announced like, hey, I'm starting out. So right now sessions are 50% off, but they're gonna start at 1,280 euros. And most of the responses were people saying, I'm gonna save up for it. So I was really pissing my pants that it would be way too expensive for people, but that wasn't the response I got. People are they value what you offer and they're ready to save for it.
Amazing, great stuff. Thanks so much for sharing your tips. So how about you, Danielle? Because you have these pop-ups, so that's like very date concentrated on specific dates and places, I guess, right?
Yeah, so I also have been using email marketing. Actually, I started using Flowdesk recently, and I release my schedule 6 weeks in advance. So everything is automated on my website. Like you can legit just like go press a button, book your session, like see what I'm available for, book your session. You don't even have to talk to me. And again, I did that because I'm super busy. Chasing after my children, and I just wanted like the least amount of contact with my clients as possible. So I use that. I have emails go out twice a month just to remind people where I'm going to be for the month, and also another email to show them like, hey, the new schedule is open. You should go and set up an appointment for yourself. I also am pretty active. We have in Philadelphia, I mean, I'm sure everywhere, but we have a bunch of like parent groups in the city. So I kind of have inserted myself. I was always in there anyway, just like complaining about my children, but I kind of have inserted myself over the past couple of months and just, offered, myself and my services to anybody who needs that. I've also tried to like think outside of the box a little bit as well. I think I mentioned that my kids are in daycare. I did reach out to the daycare and they were very happy to send an email to all of the parents, saying that I'm a family photographer in the area. If anybody wants to support, a mom who's, a mom who's in the school as well. Play groups.
So basically you are everywhere.
I kind of am. I mean, that's pretty much what I do.
Like love to find.
And then also Instagram and stories and all of that as well. So.
And also love that technical stuff. What you said about, everything is automated on the website because you don't have time. This is amazing. So yeah. If you guys want to do stuff like this, probably Danielle is the person to go to in DMs. Thanks so much, Danielle. How about you, Caro? Do you have any plans? What do you plan to do this year to book your sessions?
So two things. First one, which something that I've done regularly, is to do some portfolio shooting. So regularly, I don't think that portfolio shooting is only for when you do not have portfolio to show. I feel like it's a good opportunity for a photographer to sort of go and play a little bit during a session, but try also to kind of target the family or whoever portrait session. So you kind of want somebody that fits into your ideal client, and then you also perhaps limit how many files you may give. You might want to make sure that you have authorization to publish the photos on your website or your social media. And so that's the first thing, and try to do that regularly. And the second thing is, especially after this year, I just want to get into the world. I've had enough of social media. I love it, and it's useful. But I also want to get back into like life, and I want to create partnerships, even if at the beginning it's not something that is going to earn me money. But I want to try to work with, perhaps fellow women in business who have been struggling a little bit this year. And recently I've done a couple of shoots when we could with a lady who does who has this workshop and sell plants, and we've been looking after our homes. And I mean, I don't know, I was crazy about plants, but now even more. And it creates a vibe, it creates a rhythm, it creates energy, and obviously talk over social media. There's been another person looking after her community with well-being and yoga sessions. And I want to meet these people, and I want to feel like I'm in there and meeting local people. And also it's good for me because I've been abroad for so long, and although I've been here for like 2.5 years now, I don't feel like I know people around me. They already have their group of friends, they already have their social networks, and I have to make more of an effort to get in there. So I feel that for me, getting in the real life as opposed to the virtual one on screen, which has obviously its positives as well. I'm not like chucking this out, but these are things that I want to put my energy into this year even more, when we can.
That was mind blowing. Like, especially that creating community, like people are like, yeah, we want to do the same. This is amazing. So yeah, it does sounds like a plan though. And I really love that all of your answers, like to the panelists, are, you guys are taking different approaches. So I'm curious to hear from you, Colie. Do you have any specific marketing strategies for your business?
So I took Annemie's revenue on repeat for memberships for your existing clients, and I actually just launched and just finished. So I made sure that a number of my clients are already in the process of having their next session for 2021, which is a big thing for me. But in terms of just getting new clients, I feel like we're finally on the other side to where I have enough marketing in terms of newborn sessions that I did during COVID to where I'm going to start running ads that are assuring parents of all of the precautions that I'm taking and that it's okay to book your newborn session, because my marketing strategy has always been to go after newborns and then keep them as family clients. So I'm going to start pouring in like money into Facebook ads and things of that nature to get the newborns on the calendar, because, you know, if I keep my schedule light and now I've got COVID testing literally across the street from me, I can go do it every week. It'll just be like a routine thing that I do.
This is so good. Lauren.
Yes.
Sorry, I did took the hosting part with the guests, but I need to hear your voice for a bit. So I have a question for you. Do you have any suggestions? That's the question from the crowd. Do you have any suggestions for other apps that could work well with Simple Cells?
So I would say, I mean, obviously a lot of the apps will work while you're using the Simple Sales system, but I would say for the most part, you'll probably actually want to start utilizing the other apps sort of after the Simple Sales system is kind of done and the package and like the client has already purchased the package and like their entire gallery opens up for them. But for automations to use, you know, kind of after that point for just their general store, I mean, there's a lot. I would highly recommend doing the abandoned cart app is a really, really great one, which will basically encourage clients to actually place orders if they've left items in their shopping cart. The early bird app is really, really great, especially for like family galleries and galleries that will have a bunch of guests, because that one will send out a discount after someone visits a gallery for the first time. So that one will be really, really great. I mean, there's a bunch, like the post-order promotion one is a really good one to consider too. That one will send out a discount or like a thank you email after someone places an order. So that one will really, really be good just to like, you know, thank the client for purchasing from the store and, you know, sort of congratulate them almost on, you know, on getting a really beautiful product. So yeah, I would say those three apps. And then of course, you know, throughout the year, there's going to be, you know, we have a Valentine's Day app right now for Valentine's Day. There's going to be, you know, Black Friday apps and, you know, Christmas apps and all those sorts of things for the holidays. So those will always be really good to consider too. I always recommend like sitting down and having like a sales game plan for the entire year. So just figuring out all the kind of discounts that you want to be able to give to people throughout the entire year. But yeah, definitely abandoned cart and early bird, I would say, are like the two big ones that you'll want to install for all of your projects, really.
Yes, and if you also want to see how to set them up, we did that in the previous webinar, so it's on a YouTube channel, Pic-Time. Do any of the panelists have any successes with doing any other apps along the Simple Cells? I'm curious. I know, Kara, you said that you want to do it this year. Yeah, go on.
It was not this Christmas, the one before that. Because I hadn't set up the Simple Sales system yet, and I had very few clients because I kind of just arrived, and so I was able to write a personal email to every single client I had, which was not many, but I had kind of written a little story. And then I had given options to go through Pic-Time and do like an early sort of Christmas thing. And they had in there an option to book for a session in 2020 for a discounted price. And they also had a 20% off their gallery if they hadn't purchased the whole gallery. And they had something else now that I can't remember. It's a long time ago, but that was really successful. And the setting up, I had this big sheet where I had written all the names and I had written the steps of what to do before launching and sending the emails. And the thinking before was a bit of a mission, especially for me. But then once that was done and I transferred that into the app, then that was really, really successful and really easy. And so that, I think that was a Christmas offer or something. Yeah, so that was really good. I would have wanted to do it this year, but I didn't have the mental state, but the year before, yes. So I'm keeping that in mind for maybe next year.
Great. So we kind of crossed 2 hour time with this webinar. So and the engagement is crazy. Like people seems to enjoy all of our panelists. So thanks to you, dear audience, for sticking around with us. So I do want to thank you, all of you guys, for being here and for sharing your amazing insights. But also, like, a huge thanks to Annemie for creating the system. So I kind of want to give you the honor of maybe sum things up and say something, I mean, maybe last advice for our audience, you know, in the heart of philosophy of simple sales system.
Oh man. You know, I think people, photographers, focus a lot of their creativity on their photographs. And I think you can be really creative in your business as well. And I just, you know, it has become over the past year plus since I worked with you guys on building this, and then have spent a lot of time educating people on how to make it work for them, because it is, to your point from the very beginning. I mean, here we've been talking for 2 hours. We call it the simple sales system, but there's a bit of irony there because it's kind of complicated to wrap your head around. But you know, it really has become kind of my mission to help other people achieve these levels of success, because with each one of these success stories, I feel so motivated. I would love to flip that script about starving artists for sure. I did want to say I've been sort of trying to catch up with some of the questions in the chat, and I haven't been writing because my attention would be too divided. But if anyone, obviously the Pic-Time Facebook group, I'm in there a lot, but I also do have a This Can't Be That Hard photographers group that is open to anyone who would like to join. So you can find me on Facebook, and I answer questions there all the time.
Yes, now I feel so bad because I plug all the Instagrams for all of our guests, but I did not for you. So obviously we can find you on Instagram as well, right?
Yeah. Yep.
The
business is called This Can't Be That Hard. Instagram is This Can't Be That. Everything else is This Can't Be That Hard.
Great. So this is where you will find more useful knowledge about the system. As you could hear from our panelists, some of them also learn directly from the Annemie's workshops. So that seems to be very valuable, and it's working towards making a profit at the end. So that's great. Lauren, so how about what we can tell about to our audience to leave them with, like, the positive message about this webinar?
I mean, I would just say, just go into it and start taking a look at, you know, how you can set it up with Pic-Time. And yeah, I love how you said, you know, you can really be creative with your business. And we've heard obviously all of these different business models that you can utilize with this singular app. And so, yeah, you know, just get into it, you know, get creative. And we also have our live chat too, if anybody has any questions on how to, like, set up the app or anything at all. And yeah, I'm just really looking forward to see how it transforms everybody's business. So yeah. Yes.
Plus, we do, like, Pic-Time can actually set things up for you, right?
Yes. Thank you for reminding me. We actually do have a professional services program that you can sign up for with a one-on-one video call with me or another support agent, and we can help you get your account fully set up. We go through all the apps and help you get them all set up so that you can really gain a really good understanding of the system. So that's a really great thing to do. We also have our Facebook group. We've got our YouTube channel, of course, which all these webinars will be on as well. And we'll have more webinars in the future too. So I'm very excited.
So keep your eyes on the next webinars. We're going to try this formula for a few more webinars, having some success stories as well from different apps. So if you're interested in that, we're going to let people know. And thanks so much again to all of our dear panelists, Annemie, Elke, Danielle, Caro, Colie. That was amazing. All of you are true goddesses. Is that the right way to say the word? I'm not sure, but you know what I mean. Thanks so much, dear audience. Thanks so much for staying with us. It's been amazing evening for me, morning for some of our guys. See you in the next time. And yeah, feel free to watch the replay and walk through again with Lauren step by step. And see you the next time. Thanks so much.
Bye, guys.
Bye-bye.